Hey, what is up guys? Josh here, welcome to another video. I made an AI that trains on this fucking platformer game that I made, I guess. Because who's gonna stop me? Not you. Basically, it's just trying to get to the end. I don't know what happened to this one. Well, no, don't fucking reload site. There we go. Anyway, this is just gonna run until it works, so I'm gonna mute myself and go through all the stages. close enough. Alright, that's all the stages I have. If you don't care about code, don't watch further, because I'm about to explain the general idea of how the code works. It's not interesting, I'm gonna be honest, but I'm explaining it anyway because watch time, I guess, I don't know. So, like I said, leave if you don't care about the code, watch if you don't want to see the code, or if you just think it might be interesting enough, whatever. Alright, let me go to the first stage so this is easier to explain. I say easier to explain, it's not like there's much to explain. Basically, we start out with a players array. This is where every player is put into, basically. There is 100 players, stated by total players variable. We've got the best inputs, which is the best inputs that got the players the farthest. We've got the clear state, which is basically just if you won, which is getting to the right of the screen in this case. Let me restart the AIs. Max inputs is just how many inputs they're allowed to perform in the time that they're given until they restart. This inputs all the players, just so you have the players. This right here. This is adding all the inputs to each player, and eventually it just puts one of the players as best inputs. The best award starts out at 0, which is basically just the farthest they've gotten. The generation is how many goes at it they've had. Current input, just what input that they're on. Frames until next input, how many frames until they get to the next input. Initialize AIs is a function that just obviously initializes the AIs to, I don't know, you can restart, you can do all that. You can go to the next level, all that. It starts you out with an empty players array, best inputs array, clear state, max inputs, all the stuff I just mentioned. And it also, I don't know, adds inputs again. Best award, generation, current input frames till next input. All that stuff. This doesn't matter, it's not about the AIs, it's just grouping of the blocks. These are the blocks. This is saying, are you simulating? Because I have a button that just lets me pause. I don't usually need to pause, but I can. Fast forward, whether I'm fast forwarding or not, what level you're on, what score you need to get to, which is the award. Handle inputs just checks if you're pressing stuff, and if the AI wants to move in a certain direction, so that's fun. This draws the levels, doesn't matter that much. How many moves that get randomized for each one, and I'll explain that in a minute. Background, so it doesn't just like copy each frame. This makes it so that you can't go past the scroll boundaries. This is just typing how much scroll you're at. I don't know why I have that. This doesn't matter. This is making it so that everything is a certain amount away from scroll. This handles your inputs. This is like the call for it. What this is doing right here is, first it sets each player's award to their X position. It sets if the player's falling speed isn't 0, then they can't jump. I mean. If current award is greater or equal to the level victory score, which is, like I said, how much score they need for that level to win. It sets clear state until true, and this is just so you instantly get to see the thing. If player's I.Y is greater than height, this just kills you, or kills the player. Frames until next input lowers that by 1. If it's equal to 0, then it equals 20 plus current input, which is to say it goes to the next input. If the input is equal to max inputs, it goes up a generation. If you're on a generation that is an interval of 10, then each AI gets 5 more inputs. It also sets the current input to 0, which is, important, so it doesn't just keep going. This sets the award that the player is at. Or, no, it doesn't. What is this doing? Oh, this right here is just, if you've got a better award, the best input equals that player's inputs, and best award equals that player's current award. And what is this for? Oh, it's probably because I never used print line. I don't really need to see this, so I'm just going to remove these. If the player inputs, this just makes it so that each player has some amount of random inputs inside of the best inputs. That's basically how their brains work, because they start out with the best inputs, then they change a couple of the values in each AI does that, and eventually they reach it. This just resets the AIs, and this makes it so that each player gets set to the best inputs when they get to the right. This is setting falling speed and stuff, draws the players. This writes a bunch of statistics. Obviously we got frames until next input, current input, best award generation, and this doesn't matter for anyone who doesn't care. Otherwise, fill black, draw rectangle. What? Was I in an if statement? I guess I was, wasn't I? Whatever. Oh, right, that's the simulating. Then we got draw level, end the matrix, don't worry about that. And this sets all the inputs. Well, this sets the inputs, and then that sets the input starts. And basically that's how my shitty AIs work. This is touching, not important. If you thought that was interesting, or you don't care, I don't know, just subscribe, I guess. I'm probably going to do more AI shit because I think it's fun. Maybe I'll figure out how to make actual AIs that don't just go based on inputs. But, see you next time that you actually care.